Listen to this. You can read every book, watch all the videos, and repeat to yourself 1,000 times that confidence and respect are yours. But if you don't understand this one thing, the authority and influence you seek will always remain out of reach. Today, I'm not here to give you theory. I'm here to give you the key, something no one has ever told you before. A truth that Carl Jung discovered, one that will forever change the way you command respect and strengthen your presence. Jung famously said, "Love is not something you do, it is something you are." And the same applies to respect. It's not something you demand or chase, it's something you become. If you're watching this, it's because something inside you already knows there's more. This isn't just about learning to project confidence or setting boundaries. It's about transforming who you are at your core. It's about embodying an unshakable presence that draws respect naturally, effortlessly. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, understood this well when he wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." True power isn't found in noise, aggression, or dominance. It's found in mastering yourself, your thoughts, your reactions, and your energy. And when you do that, something extraordinary happens. People stop questioning your authority because they can feel it before you even say a word. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to cultivate that kind of quiet, commanding strength. We'll uncover the mindset shifts and practical steps that allow you to move through life with the calm confidence of someone who doesn't need to prove themselves. But here's the thing, don't skip any part of this video, because every piece fits together like a puzzle. Miss one, and you might miss the key that unlocks the transformation you're looking for. And if you appreciate what we're doing here at Stoic Journal, there's one simple free favor I'll ask of you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's a small action that makes a huge difference, and it helps us continue sharing timeless wisdom that can truly change lives. Now, let's dive in and uncover the truth that will shift everything for you. Cultivating self-respect first. You know what's interesting? Most of us spend a huge chunk of our lives chasing respect and validation from other people. We want our boss to appreciate our effort, friends to acknowledge our worth, and family to see our sacrifices. But here's the irony. How often do we pause to truly respect ourselves first? Think about the last time you skipped your own needs or compromised your standards just to keep someone else happy. It happens all the time, right? But each time we do that, we quietly tell ourselves and the world that our needs don't really matter. The Stoics had a powerful insight about this. True respect begins from within. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Let that sink in. What he's saying is that we constantly place our own self-worth into other people's hands instead of honoring our own inner voice. If you truly want others to respect you, you first have to become someone who deeply respects yourself, your values, your boundaries, your time, and your energy. Practically speaking, this means getting crystal clear on what's non-negotiable in your life. Take a second to reflect right now. What's something you absolutely won't tolerate anymore? Maybe it's being constantly available, checking emails late at night, or agreeing to do favors you genuinely don't want to do. Maybe it's allowing someone to repeatedly disrespect your feelings because you're scared to rock the boat. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality, and nothing could be more accurate." Often, the discomfort you fear about setting boundaries isn't nearly as difficult as you imagine it to be. Here's something practical you can do immediately. Write down 3 personal boundaries you're committed to honoring from today forward. Perhaps it's no longer accepting disrespectful comments at work, protecting your downtime after 7 p.m., or making space every day for activities that nourish you. Then calmly and respectfully communicate those boundaries to others. Remember, it's not about being defensive or aggressive. Instead, it's about quietly and firmly letting others see that you respect yourself enough to uphold these standards. When you start genuinely honoring your own boundaries, something amazing happens. People around you quickly notice the shift. They sense your self-assurance and naturally follow your lead. They respect you more because you clearly respect yourself. The Stoics called this internal mastery, aligning your actions with your deepest values until respect becomes a natural byproduct. So, starting today, give yourself permission to truly honor your own worth. Not only will you feel stronger internally, but you'll also effortlessly command the respect of others. No force required. Speaking clearly and calmly, without apology. Have you ever noticed that when you're unsure of yourself, your language automatically becomes softer, hesitant, or overly apologetic? Think about it for a second. You might catch yourself saying things like, "Sorry, can I just quickly say something?" Or, "This might be wrong, but..." It feels harmless in the moment, but each time you do this, you quietly undermine your own authority. You're signaling to others, and to yourself, that your voice doesn't fully deserve space. The Stoics believed deeply in the power of clear and purposeful speech. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Speak plainly and with clarity," because he understood that speaking calmly and without unnecessary apologies communicates confidence, self-respect, and a sense of inner authority. When you speak clearly and deliberately, you're not just delivering words, you're asserting the quiet strength of your own wisdom. You're telling people and yourself that your ideas matter and that your presence deserves respect. Here's something practical you can try today. Next time you're in a meeting, conversation, or even casually talking with friends, consciously slow down your speech. Speak deliberately. Pay attention to how you express yourself and notice if you tend to insert apologies or unnecessary qualifiers like "I just think" or "maybe this isn't important." But instead, challenge yourself to clearly state your perspective without weakening it. Replace hesitant phrases with simple, direct statements such as, "Here's what I think," or "I'd like to share an idea." Now, I'm not saying you should never apologize or that humility isn't important. It absolutely is. Stoicism teaches humility as a core virtue. But there's a big difference between authentic humility and unnecessarily undermining yourself. Epictetus, the great Stoic teacher, reminds us, "Know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly." When you know who you are and trust in your own ideas, you naturally stop feeling the need to apologize for expressing them. Imagine how different conversations would feel if every word you said came from this calm, confident place. Picture a meeting at work. Instead of nervously rushing through your ideas or second-guessing every statement, you speak clearly, calmly, and with certainty. Even if you're not 100% sure of the outcome, your team would immediately notice the difference and pay attention. And guess what? Even if they disagree, they'll respect your willingness to speak honestly and confidently. Try it today. Make a deliberate effort to remove unnecessary apologies and qualifiers from your speech. Replace hesitation with clarity. You'll notice right away how others respond differently. They'll listen more closely, respect your opinions more fully, and most importantly, you'll feel your own confidence strengthening. The power of silence and eye contact. Have you ever met someone who seems incredibly confident without even saying much? They walk into a room and instantly grab attention, not by speaking loudly or cracking jokes, but simply by their calm, composed presence. What's their secret? Often it boils down to mastering the subtle art of silence and eye contact. Now, I know silence can feel awkward at first. We've all been there, desperately filling every conversational pause because silence feels uncomfortable. But here's the thing. Silence is actually one of your greatest allies in commanding genuine respect. Think about the Stoics for a moment. They deeply valued silence as a form of strength and clarity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself often of the power of silence, noting, "You are not compelled to form an opinion about this matter before you. You can remain silent." What he meant was that silence gives you space to think, reflect, and respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Silence isn't weakness or indecision. It's a powerful statement of self-control and inner strength. Now let's pair that silence with eye contact. Have you ever noticed how much authority someone naturally has when they calmly maintain eye contact? It communicates confidence, sincerity, and presence. On the flip side, when we avoid eye contact or constantly look away, we subconsciously signal insecurity or uncertainty. But maintaining steady, comfortable eye contact, even during a brief silence, projects an unshakable confidence. It tells the person you're speaking to, "I'm fully present and completely at ease." Practically speaking, here's something you can immediately apply. Next time you're in a conversation, whether at work, with friends, or even on a date, try making a deliberate choice to pause for a moment before responding. Allow yourself the space to actually think and absorb what's being said. As you pause, calmly maintain eye contact. Notice how the other person's attention sharpens. That small silence suddenly elevates your presence, making your next words even more impactful. Epictetus once wrote, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen twice as much as we speak." He understood that silence and listening are deeply intertwined with respect. When you master the comfort of silence, you're actually demonstrating strength, showing others you're fully secure with yourself and your thoughts. You don't need to constantly prove your worth by filling the space. Let's be real though. At first, practicing silence might feel unnatural. Your instincts might scream at you to fill every quiet moment. But trust me on this. The more you practice calmly holding that silence while maintaining eye contact, the easier it gets. You'll quickly discover it's an incredibly powerful way to boost your presence and naturally command respect without ever raising your voice. Establishing clear and firm boundaries. You know that sinking feeling when you agree to something you really don't want to do, just because you didn't want to upset someone or seem selfish? We've all done it, said yes when our gut was screaming no, only to regret it immediately afterward. Maybe it's saying yes to extra work when you're already overwhelmed, or agreeing to another draining social event because you couldn't face disappointing a friend. But here's the catch. Every time you override your own boundaries, you're quietly teaching people and yourself that your limits don't matter. The Stoics knew that clear, firm boundaries are essential, not only to our own well-being, but also for commanding true respect from others. Seneca said, "Let us say what we feel and feel what we say. Let speech harmonize with life." In simpler terms, he's telling us to honor our words and our limits by aligning them with our true feelings and values. The moment you begin respecting your own boundaries, something powerful shifts. People around you naturally start respecting them too. Let's talk real-world examples. Imagine you're busy working on an important project and a co-worker interrupts you repeatedly to chat or vent their frustrations. Previously, you might have passively accepted these interruptions, silently getting more frustrated each time. But now, embracing a Stoic mindset, you calmly yet firmly express your boundary by saying, "Hey, I understand you need to talk, but I need to stay focused on this right now. Can we catch up later?" Notice that you're not angry or defensive, you're simply clear and firm. This signals respect for yourself and helps the other person respect you too. Practically speaking, here's what you can try today. Identify at least one situation where your boundaries regularly get pushed or crossed. Maybe it's at work, at home, or even with friends. Once you've identified it, clearly define to yourself exactly what boundary needs to be set. For instance, if your evenings are precious for family or personal time, make it explicitly clear to yourself, and then to others, that work-related emails or calls after a certain time won't be responded to until the next day. Remember, this isn't about shutting people out. It's about communicating clearly what's acceptable for you. Marcus Aurelius beautifully summarized it. If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. Boundaries help align your actions with your internal values. They're a way of demonstrating that you respect yourself enough to protect your own peace and priorities. Initially, this might feel challenging, especially if you're someone who's naturally accommodating. You might worry that others will think you're selfish or unkind. But here's the surprising truth. People actually respect clear boundaries because they signal integrity and self-awareness. They see someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to uphold it calmly and respectfully. So start today. Set just one clear boundary. Communicate it simply, confidently, and without guilt. You'll quickly find that not only will people respect you more, but your own self-confidence and inner peace will skyrocket. Stoicism teaches us that when we're true to ourselves and firm in our principles, the respect and clarity we seek naturally follow. Body language, your silent power. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to command respect or attention before they've even opened their mouth? It's like there's something in the way they walk into a room or how they hold themselves while others speak that quietly but powerfully communicates confidence. And here's what's fascinating. This silent language, your body language, often speaks louder than anything you could possibly say. Without realizing it, your posture, gestures, and the way you carry yourself constantly broadcast messages about your self-worth and how much respect you deserve. The Stoics understood that how we hold ourselves physically reflects how we hold ourselves mentally. Marcus Aurelius said, "Stand straight, not straightened." What he meant is that your physical posture should reflect an inner dignity and strength, rather than tension or artificial confidence. You don't have to force it. Your posture should naturally express the calm and self-assured person you are inside. When you align your body with your values, people instinctively sense your confidence and strength. Let's imagine two scenarios to make this clearer. Picture yourself walking into a meeting, shoulders slouched, eyes glued to the floor, maybe nervously fidgeting or crossing your arms. Without saying a word, you've already told everyone in the room that you're uncomfortable or unsure of yourself. Now picture walking into the same meeting with your back comfortably straight, shoulders relaxed but open, head up, and making easy, natural eye contact. Even without speaking, you've immediately communicated confidence and competence simply by the way you carry yourself. Practically speaking, here's something you can do immediately. The next time you walk into any room, whether it's a work meeting, a date, or even just hanging out with friends, pause and consciously adjust your posture. Take a deep, calming breath. Gently roll your shoulders back, lift your chin slightly, and allow your posture to be open and comfortable. It doesn't have to feel stiff or unnatural. Just let yourself stand or sit in a way that feels good, confident but relaxed. Another powerful Stoic idea taught by Epictetus was that we should embody our philosophy. If your philosophy is that you respect yourself and deserve respect from others, your body language should communicate exactly that. It's not about arrogance, it's about being comfortable in your own skin and confident in your worth. This quiet but authentic self-assurance naturally commands respect. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to radically change who you are or pretend to be someone you're not. It's simply about letting your physical presence reflect the inner strength you already possess. Experiment today by being mindful of your posture and gestures. Avoid crossing your arms or shrinking down into yourself. Instead, keep your body language calm, open, and assured. I promise you, you'll quickly notice the difference, not just in how others respond to you, but in how you feel about yourself. Remember, your body language is the silent ambassador of your inner confidence. Master it, and you'll effortlessly communicate strength, authority, and respect without ever having to raise your voice. Handling disagreements with grace. You know those moments when you're having a discussion, everything's calm, and suddenly you find yourself in the middle of a disagreement, and before you even realize what's happening, emotions take over. Maybe your voice gets louder, your words become sharper, or you feel the need to defend your position aggressively. We've all been there, and afterward, you might wonder why it had to escalate in the first place. But here's the interesting thing. Disagreements don't have to become conflicts, and conflicts don't have to undermine respect. It's entirely possible to handle differences of opinion calmly, gracefully, and with genuine strength. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself that other people's opinions or disagreements didn't have to disturb his inner peace. He famously said, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." What he meant is that even when someone challenges or disagrees with us, it doesn't automatically threaten our authority or self-worth. Your confidence isn't diminished just because someone else sees things differently. In fact, how you handle disagreements is a direct reflection of your inner strength and maturity. Think about it practically. Let's say you're in a work meeting and someone openly challenges your idea. Your instinct might be to become defensive or quickly prove them wrong. But imagine instead taking a deep breath, calmly listening, and genuinely considering their viewpoint before responding. You might say something like, "That's an interesting perspective. I hadn't thought of it that way. Here's why I approached it differently." Notice the power in that simple response. You're not surrendering your position, you're simply respecting theirs and communicating your viewpoint with clarity and composure. Epictetus once taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Applied here, this means disagreements aren't inherently bad or threatening. Instead, they're opportunities. Opportunities to demonstrate calm confidence and thoughtful leadership. Imagine someone observing you handle a disagreement with patience and openness. They immediately respect you more because they see someone who is emotionally mature and self-assured enough to remain composed under pressure. Here's a practical tip you can use today. Next time you sense a disagreement brewing, whether it's with a coworker, friend, or family member, make a deliberate choice to pause and breathe before you respond. Remind yourself that their opinion doesn't threaten your value or diminish your authority. Listen carefully, acknowledge their perspective clearly, and then share your own calmly and respectfully. You'll immediately notice how quickly potential conflicts diffuse into thoughtful conversations. Initially, responding this way might take conscious effort. You might even feel vulnerable or uncomfortable, especially if you're used to reacting defensively. But remember, vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. Stoicism teaches that self-control and emotional discipline are the highest forms of strength. When you handle disagreements gracefully, you're embodying a quiet power that commands far more respect than raising your voice or aggressively defending your position ever could. So, give it a try today. Embrace disagreements as opportunities to practice calmness, clarity, and self-respect. You'll not only feel stronger internally, but you'll also naturally inspire respect and admiration from those around you. Embracing vulnerability, the ultimate strength. You know what's pretty surprising? The moments when you feel weakest, like admitting a mistake, sharing a fear, or being honest about feeling uncertain, are actually the moments when others see your greatest strength. Sounds counterintuitive, right? Because most of us grow up believing that vulnerability equals weakness. We're taught to hide our struggles, cover up our mistakes, and never show any cracks in our armor. But here's the fascinating truth. Vulnerability, when expressed authentically, is actually one of your most powerful assets when it comes to commanding genuine respect. The Stoics deeply understood the strength in honest vulnerability. Marcus Aurelius, even though he was an emperor, openly acknowledged his own shortcomings and doubts in his personal writings. He didn't hide from his imperfections. Instead, he embraced them as part of being human. He famously wrote, "Don't be ashamed to need help. Like a soldier storming a wall, you have a mission to accomplish." What he meant was that recognizing your limitations openly is not weakness, it's courage. It takes tremendous inner strength to admit vulnerability, far more than pretending to have all the answers. Think about your own life for a second. Imagine a situation at work or among friends where you've made a mistake. Your initial instinct might be to hide it, justify it, or even blame someone else to protect yourself. But imagine instead calmly and honestly saying, "That was my mistake. I misunderstood, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again." What happens then? You actually gain respect. People naturally admire those who are secure enough to own up honestly. They see someone who's confident enough to be human, who doesn't hide behind false bravado or defensiveness. Epictetus explained that true strength lies in accepting the reality of who you are, imperfections and all. He taught that vulnerability isn't a threat to your self-worth. It actually enhances your authenticity and integrity. When you're openly vulnerable, you're signaling clearly to others and yourself that you value honesty above your ego. You're showing that you're secure enough in yourself to acknowledge flaws, uncertainty, or even fear without losing your sense of inner strength. Practically speaking, here's a simple yet powerful exercise you can try immediately. Today, when you find yourself in a situation where you feel uncertain, nervous, or you've clearly made an error, instead of masking it, openly acknowledge it. Calmly and confidently express what's really happening. For example, you might say, "I'm honestly not sure of the best solution right now. I'd appreciate your input." Or, "I'm feeling a bit nervous about this presentation, but I'm going to do my best." Notice how instantly relatable and admirable this simple act is to others. Initially, embracing vulnerability like this might feel uncomfortable. You might worry about appearing weak or losing respect. But here's the powerful paradox. Authentic vulnerability actually boosts respect, trust, and connection. People naturally admire authenticity. They see strength in your courage to be real. You become someone they feel safe around, someone they can trust because you aren't hiding behind a facade. Remember, respect isn't something you demand, it's something you become. Now, if you're ready to deepen your understanding and fully embrace your inner strength, click on the video on your screen right now. I'm truly grateful you're part of Stoic Journal. See you soon.